This is Jeff with Shout Out Minnesota, and we are here with Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry, welcome to Minnesota.
Thank you. I love saying Minnesota.
That's right, too. Thank you so much for coming tonight and visiting with the fans, your experience with the fans tonight.
Well, it was nice. I mean, I'm trying to think of like how long it's been since I've been back here in Minnesota. Back in 1988, of course, when I won the AWA World Heavyweight Championship, got to come up here quite a bit. This was part of Vern Gagne's territory back in the day, and so and certainly I guess Kurt Hennig was from here in Minnesota, and so I got to come here quite a bit. But and I've been back a few times, with the WWE here and there, but. It's always fun, except for, I got to admit, it's always cold. It seems like every time I've ever come here. And today, my gosh, I just left my hometown of Memphis. Has been 72 degrees all week long. I get off the plane here, it's 30 and snowing. Whew. I love you, Minnesota, but I wouldn't want to live here.
And you caught it right when it snowed, too.
Yeah, this is like the first snowfall of the year. Right?
Pretty much. Over 50 years, I don't know exactly the amount, but over 50 years
51.
of wrestling. 51 years of wrestling. You've seen a lot of things, of course.
And don't expect me to sit here and tell you about everything.
No, absolutely not. But I would like to ask you about the changes throughout the years, things that you've noticed that are very noticeable as a wrestler and even as a commentator.
I don't know. Wrestling's wrestling. All the fans. I think what really has changed and what changes the business because of is the fans. The fans' attention level, I believe, or attention span, I should say. It's shortened. Everything now seems like it's got to be faster. It seems like that's bigger and better. And back in the day, I don't know. When two wrestlers went in the ring, they went in there to tell a story. That match was going to tell a story. Nowadays, it seems like it's evolved into just a bunch of moves, one after the other. High flying flips and flops and all that kind of stuff. And that, to me, is the main difference. The fans are the same, with the exception of their attention span is shorter.
Longevity is a big difference too, wouldn't you say? As far as being in a career where it's much shorter now than it was back then?
Well, I don't know. You do see guys not lasting as long. The Undertaker, and I borrowed one from him. I wear it as well. He had a shirt that had a great saying on the back, and it said, "Be wary of the old man in a profession where young men don't last very long." And if you think about that, that's very true.
Absolutely. So I hear you collect things like Coca-Cola Memorabilia. Is that true?
I collect all sorts of things. I just had a film crew down at my house doing a tour of my collections. I actually had to move from one house to another, but just because to house my collections, the bigger it got. I don't even know what would be my prized possession right now, but I collect superhero stuff. I collect art. I collect... like you said, Coca-Cola Memorabilia. All sorts of stuff. Kind of unbelievable autograph collection. So I guess the two things that are most valuable to me, I own a Norman Rockwell original, a piece of Norman Rockwell original art that he did in 1935. So it was a charcoal study for a piece that he did for an illustration in a story in American Magazine, 1935. It's pretty cool, big too. And I actually got contacted by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. They're trying to buy up all of the Norman Rockwell charcoal studies that are in existence. And so I have one, and when those guys called up, I thought, man, this thing may be more valuable than I thought. My other prized possession is 1966 Adam West Batmobile. Yeah, that I still drive around to this day. So I got a bunch of Coca-Cola machines and different kind of stuff, but those are my two prizes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Away from WWE, what do you do for fun besides collecting?
Oh, for fun?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. In the summertime, play softball. I've had a softball team for as long as I've been wrestling. The guys have come and gone, but I've been playing first base there for over, almost 50 years. And I actually said that the last game of the season this past summer was going to be my last game. The TV stations in Memphis came out and covered it. We won the league championship and the tournament championship in that game, and then afterwards, everybody's coming and says, "Man, that's your last softball game you're ever going to play?" And then I got to thinking, back in the day, we used to have loser leave town matches, right? Two guys had a big beef. They couldn't. The city was not big enough for the two of them, so they'd have a loser leave town match. And one guy would lose, and he would leave, and then all of a sudden, somehow, he would show up the next week with a mask on, claiming that he was a different guy, right? So I may show up next year playing softball with a mask on, and it won't be Jerry Lawler. It'll be the masked first baseman. I don't know. I've been thinking about that. I may make my whole team wear masks.
Well, I thank you so much for your time. Before we go, one last shout out to the wrestling fans here in Minnesota.
Minnesota wrestling fans, you are the best. Thank you for being behind me all these years, especially back when I was the AWA World Champion. I'm proud of you guys. I love you guys.